Tshepo Mekoa is my name. I'm the CEO and founder of Brima Logistics, which started in 2005.
Hi, I'm Thuli Magubane and welcome to the Success Rate podcast. This is where we have conversations about success, people's journeys to success, the definitions of success, and maybe what really makes them tick. So if you like what you're hearing and you want to hear more, make sure that you subscribe, hit the subscribe button, and also hit the notification button so that you know when new episodes are loaded. Today we're having a conversation with an entrepreneur, and he has gone into the courier and logistics business. His name is Tshepo Mekoa. And actually, I must confess, I've known him for many decades. I know him from the dusty streets of Davidson. Back in the day when he would come riding with his BMX, visiting his aunt who used to be our neighbor. Welcome, Tshepo.
Thanks for being with me.
It's been a pleasure. So we're here to talk about success and your journey. So going back to the dusty streets of Davidson, when you were riding around in your BMX, did you ever think that you would have something like Brima?
Yeah, I think in the back of my mind, yes, but not to this scale, or not to this level. Definitely yes, but then I guess then I was too focused on just being a BMX star.
I like that. So tell us about the journey of Brima. So obviously your background is not in the courier business. You studied something else. So
Yes.
What attracted you to the courier and logistics business?
It's a book. It was titled The Military Logistics.
Mm-hmm.
I remember way back in then when I did I studied with University of Durban.
Yes.
It's now called University of Brima.
Yes.
I did my B.Admin and I majored with industrial psychology. When I finished my degree, I wasn't so sure as to what is that I was going to do. And then I landed up a job with Kellogg's as a logistics clerk. I was writing gate passes for trucks. And kept carrying load sheets for trucks. And then one day I went to my manager, who was then, he was called Mike Gibson. I went to him and I said, Mike, tell me, what is this logistics? He gave me a book called, he said the next day, he said, go and read this book.
Yes.
And that's when
So what keeps you up at night?
That's an interesting question. Someone once asked me and said to me, what comes first, business or family? Brima keeps me up at night. What comes first is my business.
Yes.
Family comes second. So yes, Brima keeps me up at night.
And how has that impacted your family and your marriage? If you say Brima is number one.
I think, when you start taking them overseas and you say, let's go on holiday, you take them to Disneyland or New York, and they say, you say to them, okay guys, there's Times Square. Go and run around Times Square, I'll sit and watch. They run around, they get excited. When they come back, you say to them, you see guys, I love you, I'm not going to spend too much time, but I love you enough. So I can go and make sure that you can get together. I'm not saying money. Brima keeps me up simply because their staff. I employ over 100 staff. Sometimes when I come through the parking lot and I see those cars, I become excited and I say, look, we're really feeding these people, this company does. So I'll become uncomfortable just for them.
So you mentioned an interesting concept of succession, and I think it's something that we don't talk enough about. Yes, big corporates will talk about succession. HR is in charge of that. But for entrepreneurs, how do they actually practically, implement succession in their businesses?
Well, I think it starts with they have to want to
Mm.
and not fake it.
Yeah.
Because the moment you fake it, you are not going to create a conducive environment for people who want to be able to take added and more responsibilities.
Mm.
So, and as I said earlier, that it was not an easy decision.
Yes.
Firstly, you got to find out. And especially if you're scaling up to become a great company. There are good companies, there are bad companies, there are companies that are okay. I mean, I said to create a great company, not a good company. I'm not saying there's something wrong with it.
With a good company, yes, yeah.
So you've got to create this environment where people want to keep on coming to you. And I always tell you, my door is always open. Doesn't matter. And I said, I want you to ask that stupid question. Because it starts with that stupid question. And make people feel that they can approach you with just about any question and never intimidate them. To a point when you come into my warehouse, you would not realize that I'm deceived. It's like I blend in.
Yes.
But when the time comes for me to take over and give a bit of direction, I do that, but then I blend in with them. But in actual, what I do now is I let them go forward. And then I sit. By the time they realize, I would have disappeared. Because I've passed my time.
Yeah.
I was sharing my story without mentioning one of the political leaders, just one of our neighbors who's been in power for many years. That I'm beginning to feel like that president, not that country. I've been here for 18 years. No, it's time to go. This COVID messed my things up. But I know I can feel my time.
So would you feel that you are successful once you have a success?
Actually, that's a way of seeing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would feel that way. Yeah. I think. Yeah. Actually. Yeah. Then
successful.
Maybe then, because I've been looking for that definition of when do I define that I'm successful? Maybe when I've got a success, then I'm successful. Then I'll give you a quality. Thuli, I think I'm successful. Yeah.
So Tshepo, I know that you're thinking long term, and hence your definition of success doesn't seem quite complete right now. And you've written a book called The 14-Year Startup, and it's about creating legacy businesses. And for those of you who'd like to read more about Tshepo's journey and also him creating Brima, we'll be giving away some copies. And here you talk about a legacy business. What do you mean by legacy business?
You see, a lot of people, you get a number of entrepreneurs. You get those who do want to live day to day.
Yes.
Then you get those who want to build businesses and scale them up, and they become legacies. So that when they retire, the kids, great kids, and they can live from them. I mean, the Rockefeller, the Waltons, they've left the Oppenheimers today. They've left legacy businesses, and we're talking businesses that would run beyond the founder.
Yes.
Businesses that whenever their model works in so far as they can sustain themselves. So those are your legacy businesses where and there's nothing wrong with someone having a business. Because for me, my definition of an entrepreneur is someone else that sells something to make something. So in this case, there's nothing wrong with a person that sits on the corner and sells witches.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's a day to day. They're far from being a legacy business. But once they turn into it, they realize that generators are income. Then they can scale up and form a legacy business that would run beyond them.
So what our audience may not know is that the proceeds of your book actually go to a fund to benefit your staff. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, it's one of those initiatives of giving back to staff. I mean, right now my vehicle is on the road. Somebody is driving. Yesterday a guy took a photo at like 10 o'clock, sent me a photo. So we asked him, I'm
I
seeing
saw your vehicle on the road.
Yeah, and I said, I don't even know who the driver is. So how do you give back?
Yes.
You know, you give back by bringing them on the dinner table. Currently, well, not currently. Then I was the only one. So I gave out shares to them. They own the trust of the company, so they own 10%. I own 90%. My family owns 90% of the business. The proceeds from the book goes to them. We sold in excess of 1,400 copies.
Yes.
1,400. Coca-Cola came and bought just in excess of 200 books. Just once, bang. Yeah. So we sold quite a lot of copies. And they've benefited immensely from the decision.
All right. And do you think more entrepreneurs should have that type of mentality? Spreading the love, cutting the cake, sharing with the employees?
Yeah, you know, we have our own entrepreneurial chat. And those that I speak to, I always say, because some ask me, you know, even you ask me, what is it like to do shares for staff? You have to your party. Not an easy thing, but it empowers them. So and it makes them feel they're part of the bigger picture.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I encourage it. I think get more people at the dinner table. You know, the days of just you being just a typical industrialist alone and me and my family. No, you must never forget the guy that opens the warehouse at 6 o'clock in the morning, and you must never forget the guy that closes your warehouse at 2 a.m. Because now I get a message when I sleep by 9. So I wake up by 5 and I get a message that the warehouse closed at 2 o'clock. And I'm saying to myself, I have a sense of greatness to say
someone is out there.
Someone is out there, but someone is closing his business or her business. It's not just mine.
Yes. All right. And you love books. So which books would you advise entrepreneurs? Maybe 3 books that every entrepreneur should read, or besides your own.
I was about to say oh gosh, I love this one, The Shoe Dog. From Knight.
I haven't read it, so I'm going to get a copy myself.
Yeah. Oh, The Shoe Dog, The Founder's Mentality. And Good to Great.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
When I read that book, and I had to remember, people live what you preach. So if you say to people that we are a good company, they'll give you good news. But if you say to people, no, we are a great company, they'll give you great news.
Yes.
So I said, guys, let's scale up. Oh, and guess what? I bought those books. You've got a library. So if I read a book, I'll buy it. Buy it, I take a lot, wherever I find it. We'll step, and we'll let it go around. So we've read, I read another one, maybe it's 4. And I love this one. Who moved that cheese?
Yes.
Oh, I don't stop reading that book. That's a very small book.
Yes. You can read it on a flight from Joburg to Cape Town.
Oh, yes, I read it. So, 4 books for me: The Shoe Dog, The Founder's Mentality, Good to Great,
yes,
and Who Moved Cheese.
Yeah. You shared a story that it took you a while to get yourself your dream car. Why was that?
Because I kept on wanting to justify, is it necessary for me to spend this money on this dream car without mentioning it? If I can still buy another 10 buckets or 5 buckets. And eventually, after a very long time, and that story that I shared with you. I mean, I think it took me almost 6 to a year to eventually get whatever that I thought I should buy. But it was not quite easy for me to make that decision because I kept on saying, no.
Did you feel guilty about the
I
purchase?
did.
Why?
I could have bought, 8 buckets? It's hard. And even though at that time the business was not needing 8 buckets, the business was fine. The business said I had enough and I could look after myself. It just can't. I guess it's the type of a person that I am. You know, you look at me Monday to Friday, I drive a very simple car, I run around with a car that at 1.3 and I'm okay with it. So yeah. But yeah, no, I felt, but I'm used to it now. Yeah. I'm okay. I'm comfortable with it. So
you had your buyer's remorse and you've gotten over it.
Fear.
Yeah.
Call it fear. You know, I always I always say, and I always use this, that just because a business has 1 million doesn't necessarily mean that it's mine. A business is a natural person. No, sorry, business is a juristic person.
Yes.
I'm a natural person. Whatever that the business has in their bank account, it's not mine. You see. Now, you must also factor in that when you're an entrepreneur and you're self-employed, now when you go and buy that asset, that is a personal asset.
Yes.
Or it was not bought in the company.
Oh, you bought it in your own name?
Yeah, no, I keep the truth. And I bought it in my salary. Right? So it's not like it was...
That Brima bought you your dream car?
No. It was not like that. So I bought it in my personal name. But now, having said that, you've got to understand and separate the two. You won't succeed in building a better business if you don't separate yourself. And this is where entrepreneurs are conflicted, and they find it very hard to separate themselves.
So, on your journey to success, what has been the most difficult decision that you've had to make?
Oh, you're taking me back now. After COVID, we remained in business.
Yes.
We had 6 branches actually. The floor was busy. When I say the floor was busy, freight was busy. We were all over. It was just huge error that we made in the business. I think I shared that error with you. That led to us closing 3 branches. It meant that we had to repay 39 people. I remember that day when I had to sign up those contracts. They were, when I signed them up, they were names, but they had faces. So I signed them up.
And it's people's livelihoods.
Yeah, gave them to HR, and then I got into my car, and I went home. But that was the saddest thing, where I had to help people.
Yes.
It was hard, but yeah.
So how does one bounce back from having gone through that type of situation as a business where you have retrenched employees in order to survive? Because sometimes in business, in order to survive and to stay afloat, you have to make those tough decisions. So how do you bounce back?
I said to myself, what led to our crisis? Then I realized that I sort of scaled up. And in my book, I talk about one of the pillars of entrepreneurship is putting up systems in place.
Yes.
But as an entrepreneur, you must revisit the system. You must always modify it, change it, see if it's still relevant. So I forgot to check if the system is still relevant.
Yeah.
When I went back and I said, oh my God, this system then, 2021 or 2018, is not relevant now. How do I modify it? So it meant now going back to the drawing board, fixing what's broken, and modifying it. And then, because you as an entrepreneur know your business better.
True, yeah.
And I remember when I was sitting with one of my national sales managers, his name is Wanda, so when we were talking, he said to me, I followed you. I read the book. You can tell us what's wrong.
Yeah.
You can share. You can tell us what to correct. And that's how we corrected by going back to the drawing board, going back to how we used to make things great.
And is it difficult to acknowledge failure or where you've gone wrong and go in front of your people and say, this is where we've gone wrong and this is what we need to do to correct it?
Oh, I do it all the time. No one is perfect. And similarly, my employees are not perfect. And I remember with this mess up, I had to call staff and I said, guys, for us to get out of this mess, I need a new radio. We're no longer a green company. So let's start. I acknowledge as a CEO, I failed. I should have been more hands-on on this. I should have looked at the system. I did not look at the system. Relook at the system. The system has failed. We are changing it, but I need everybody to help. I need everybody to make sacrifices. And everybody was quite happy, and I found more hands on board than just my hand on board. And that's how we've survived.
And then, as a black-owned courier business, what has been the biggest challenge for you in terms of getting big clients and big contracts?
we've got two types of clients. You've got the private sector, you've got the government sector.
Yes.
Or we battle with the government. You know,
Really?
oh no. We do have, small tenders at government, but not what. Obviously, there was a tweet that I put out not so long ago. Not so long actually, where and I addressed it to a department.
Yes.
And I said, why are you using this multinational from Denmark? Without even mentioning the multinational.
Yeah.
Why are you spending so many millions when Tshepo Mekoa, from Africa, who is a Korean? Why don't you do that? Why do you have to go and spend this money? Because our money leaves our country. But then I realized one thing to say. They're not going to change. I might have the level ones, I might have everything that they want. I don't know how they get into their positions. Because you find that even some of the supply chain managers who are in Ghana tend to undermine their very own black
businesses. Yeah.
That's fine. Let me not worry. Because it's me who's going to fail. They are fine. They are doing their job. They've given maybe their whoever needs the service within the department. It's fine. Let me move on. I then looked at the private sector. And the private sector then had an appetite for E&E.
Yes.
And they knocked on my door. I said, actually I knocked on the door. And I said, you guys are aware that I'm level 1. And you guys are aware that you are using a generic that is big. You're not getting any big points. But use me or use both.
Yes.
And they said, okay, let's use you. And that's a big mistake that they never guess what? We get used to our services. So that's how I've managed to target the private sector, and I've grown relatively well within the private sector. My turnover, and I'm honest with you, 97% is from private sector.
Wow.
And by the way, I lack all in this country and not even enjoying
the benefits of BEE. So you think BEE is a plus?
Well, for me, it helped insofar as being put on supply development, because BE sort of insist on using black-owned suppliers. It has worked in that regard. But insofar as the government, whether the government has put the BE in place, that remains. It's a topic for another day.
All right.
But another challenge that we need to understand, and if I may say this, now I am generic. It's interesting.
So now you're going to be competing head to head with other generics.
Yeah. It's like now you must understand. You must go big.
Yes.
You must be aggressive. This is where it hurts. When you do your PE scoring, or when they want to see if you are spending money with black-owned
companies. Oh yeah. So now you've got to start developing
smaller companies. Yes. And now my point is, how do I develop a company that sells cars? Because 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, I mean, my biggest consumption is assets. Now, you do have companies that sell cars, but they don't sell cars.
Yes.
And if you do get, you get a lot of form. But here's 10%, 50% have good company in their stable, but it's not good enough to help you. Because you don't find 100% black home.
So now you're going to find your score dropping?
Yes.
Which is ironic.
And then this is why I said, and when I went to when they were launching the transport chart, I went there.
Yes.
And I raised my hand and said, guys, you've got to really look at this piece. I spend money with airlines. So, who am I going to spend money with? Give me a black company that is an airline that I can spend money with. How must I go and start an airline company now? I can't even afford to buy a plane. I mean, a fuel. I buy my fuel from Engine or Sasol. Or tell me here, when you see Sasol, you score me on the basis of Sasol, or you score me on the basis of Engine. I don't know what can I can't change them to level 1. So that's where this thing becomes a fallacy, and it becomes so painful to say we're now expecting this generic company now to start sourcing from suppliers that don't exist.
So do you think companies can become successful going through the BEE route?
Yeah, BEE route that couples with industrial supply development.
Okay.
I'm a beneficiary of
supply development,
and I'll name this company. and the supply development worked and has built this country. Even though now they can't assist me anymore, I understand.
Yes.
I went through change.
Every baby needs to grow up.
Yeah, well, that's what when I was sitting with the auditors, they said, Tshepo, good news and bad news. I said, yeah, they say your turnover grew by 1%. I said, that's great. So, you know the bad news? I said, yeah, you're not turnover. I said, I said, you're over 15 million. I said, no, I can't. Please take me down. She said, I can't. It's you make too much money. So you can't be making. Don't make, then drop down. And yeah, so and unfortunately.
So who are the companies that supported you?
Yeah, these companies are worth mentioning. Standard Bank has been very instrumental. I mean, Standard Bank, their supply development was intense insofar as they started me with Oric, not Oric. They started with Alon Racecorp. You know Alon Racecorp? I was there for 6 months. They took me to Oric, Pablo, for 2 years with my entire team. I was there with the finance, I was there with so they looked at the finance module.
Yes.
You know, and they got us to prepare financials and Standard Bank, there was general electricity, there was digital generation, Vodacom, what else? The list is endless. Just can't think of any, but we've had just in excess of about 7 of them that just help us along the way.
Okay. And the name itself, Brima, it's got an interesting story. I don't want to take away from it. I know the backstory, but maybe just let our audience know, where does the name come from?
I like this one. My other name is Brian. So my wife's name is PR Brian, MA Matsit.
Yes.
So it's a combination of Matsit,
Brian and Matsit.
But actually I didn't name it. My wife named it. So she was quite.
So she's the creative in the team.
Yeah. Because when I started, I said, listen, this is the path that I'm following. I'm doing business now. I'm gonna quit my job, but I need a name. And she looked at me and she said, Brima. I said, why Brima? Who's Brima? Because I thought I'd get me some African name, you know. There's no Brima,
Hamba Logistics.
Yeah, you know,
something like that. Yes, something like that.
There's nothing wrong with that, but I was wondering, till today, I'm still wondering. What name was I going to come up with?
So starting a business as a married man with a young family, what was that like? What was your biggest fear?
You know, I just took a very deep breath now. It was, because then I just sort of went back. It was hard. It was hard because, you know, I had a bond then, I had a car, and I had a nice corner office, you know, and a nice package. I was an executive logistics company. I was doing well, but then I knew that I wasn't going to be happy, you know, as long as I fulfilled this need that I had. And you know, I sat down with my wife and I said, listen, you know, I've always wanted to do this. She said, you know what, let me give you food service. I don't want you to eat 16. You say to me, I wanted to.
Did you have the faith?
Yeah. He said, okay, cash flow projections. I said, well, pension fund, your pension fund, cash it in, but before we do that, maybe let's purchase one vehicle in your payslip. Then you could, you know, in the olden days, you could buy a truck with a payslip. Not a commercial vehicle.
Wow.
That's how very lucky. So we purchased those vehicles and we kept the pension fund that we kept in for about 6 months. But it wasn't easy. Lifestyle didn't change, but it meant a lot of sacrifices that you made.
You talk about sacrifices when you started the business. What were some of those sacrifices you made?
You know, when you're an executive in a company, your salary is high.
Yes.
It means you'll have to go without a salary. You've got to be dependent. You know, right? Luckily, there was that relationship where her money were the same. You know, so sacrifices of knowing that chances are you might go on for 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years without a salary. And you must be content and you must be very comfortable with that fact. Because it was within you to change. If you could earn a salary in a year, you're then lucky. It took me almost, I think, 4 years to start getting to earn a little bit of what I was doing.
Yes, yeah. And so when you started Brima, it was you and Lady. Maybe tell our audience about Lady.
Oh, the old lady.
Yeah.
Old lady was the first truck that I
Yes.
bought. So I saw this opening of this company. Well, I started subcontracting. It's not like I just found a. I mean, today I have the various clients. I've got multinationals, the likes of your Vodacom, Lexmark, Fidelity. The list is endless.
Yes.
But I used to subcontract to another company called DNA Logistics. I bought a truck, put it in there with music, of course. The old lady, and I think the hard part was when you're so used to be driving executive cars. Now you're having to get inside the truck and running around delivering and opening. So you become a driver, you then become an assistant.
Yes.
So open the door and you get the forklift to load, you pack the boxes. And I'm saying, this is hard. I used to have a PA. Now I'm loading boxes.
Yes.
But started nicely with the old lady. She has since retired, by the way.
Oh, old lady has retired.
Yeah, she's the second employee of the business. She's got a very nice spot in our house.
Yeah.
She's not caged, but well looked after.
So it's almost like a centerpiece in the warehouse.
Yeah, no, she's actually outside the premises.
Outside.
We've got about a 4,000 square meter warehouse.
Okay.
As you come into the main gate, through the security gate, you'll see on the right. She's sitting there, very comfortably.
Watching over you.
Yeah, she's there, but she does go out.
Okay.
Okay, this is the funny part. Out of the entire fleet, that's the only vehicle I control.
Oh, really?
The rest I don't control. So when they want that one, they must come to me and say, "Sir, can we borrow the old lady?" Yeah, she does go out once in a while. She hasn't been out in the last 6 months.
Shame, old lady, I didn't keep.
No, I'm scared. With so many accidents on our road, I think it will pain me if she could. She was once involved in an accident. It was, I think, if an old lady, when last time she got involved, it was like a child got involved. Because I went there and I was there, when we were penny of winter, but we resprayed her, we restored her, and she's original.
Yes.
It's the only vehicle that has the original
cuts.
Original car.
Oh, the original
logo.
color. Oh,
the logo that I started the business with.
Yes, you've rebranded a couple of times
3
since
times,
then.
but she has the original. She's looking hot. You must see her. She's hot. Yeah,
So, tell us, when you hear the word success, what comes to mind?
Made it, achievement, attainable, thing that you can measure and see. Well, obviously, success comes with a number of things that are built up, that are maybe leading you to that build up.
Yes.
But for me, it's in just putting it in a simple terms is observable achievement.
Observable achievement. I like that. And do you think you've attained success?
Nah.
Why?
I'm still schooling. No, I have I think if you
So wouldn't someone say, if they were at where you're at, what's your fleet now, 60?
Yeah, in excess of 60.
In excess of 60 vehicles. In somebody's terms, that's success.
Well, I guess success is subjective. In some, but in my terms, it's not. And I'll tell you why. I went to, my son was young. We went overseas. We flew into Paris. Then my son saw FedEx. And then we flew out of, we stayed in Paris for a while. We flew into Disneyland, and we were in Disneyland. My son saw FedEx again. He was young, Junior. Junior works for me. He's an operations manager in my business. He said to me, "Daddy, this FedEx company, this South African company, it's all over."
Yes.
So I said, "Okay." Then my wife said, "Please answer the child."
Yes.
And I knew the answer that I should, give to Junior. So I said, "Junior, I need to tell you something. That's not a
South African company.
That's a American. This company started in the 80s. The person that founded this company had a global presence in mind.
Yes.
He didn't have the American presence. So he says, "Dad," by then he says, "Dad, you say now Brima is going to be here."
Yeah.
I says, "Why not?" You see. So possibly, maybe yes, we'll have an office in New York, operation in New York.
Yes.
Would I say once it's there? Would I say it's success? No. I have what they call, what my wife said, reality waiting.
Reality waiting.
You must
Share
have,
more.
yeah. Reality waiting is it's like it's a board in our office.
Yes.
It's got planes, it's got cargo plane, cargo ships, trucks, bakkies. So it's model cars.
So it's almost like a vision board, but with small models.
Yeah, small model. So
Yes.
we have everything except the cargo plane.
Mm.
We have everything except the ship, the cargo ship.
Mm.
We've got the forklift there.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the warehouse. We've got the warehouse racks. We've got the bakkies. We've got the trucks.
Yes.
So we just don't have the others.
Mm.
So if you were to bring that to maybe success, so how would you define that you've succeeded insofar as your vision board is concerned or reality waiting? No.
So we're still waiting for the cargo ships and the cargo plane.
Yeah. And the reason why I did that was I left a footprint. Actually, I'm leaving a footprint.
Yes.
You know, I've been the CEO with footprint. I've been the founder and CEO of Brima Logistics. And my time is up. And
yes.
but I need to move, I need to leave a company very strong and healthy. And I need to be able to say to them, guys, follow the footprint. You know, the founders, I don't know if you read the book, the founders mentality. I also quote the founders mentality in my book.
Yes.
Where we must never ever forget. I know businesses are dynamic, they change, but we must never forget the founders mentality. So they must always refer to the
vision. You set the vision.
I said, there you are. I can only scale up to here. You need to take it up to the next level.
And then parting shots on success. What are some of the lessons that you've learned in life that you can share with our audience?
I think truly humbleness. You must be prepared to be educated as well. Because we tend to think, I mean, when I came out of university with executive positions and I realized, I remember my first engagement with Alan. I'm trying to go ahead.
You hang out with Alan?
I wish I did. But Alan race cop. Alan race cop.
Yeah. Alan race, yeah.
Just when I touch his head. So I remember he said to me, Tshepo, forget about the education. Entrepreneurship is a different issue. It gets very, 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 very long to take this path. Yeah, and there were phenomenal lessons that I learned from.
Yeah. So be humble.
Yeah.
That's the first one. Second one?
Stay focused.
Stay focused.
Get it wrong. Resilient. Yeah, be resilient.
Yeah.
And be ready. Just know that hard times will always come. They don't come once, they come every now and then. And they come in different forms and shapes.
So be ready to tackle those times.
Yeah, you gotta be ready. And you know, the sad part is the same challenges that I face doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to face the same. Yours could be different.
Yes.
But you've got to find a way to work around it. And as an entrepreneur, you know your business better than me. And you've got to find a way to make it work. So I would say, yeah, be ready. Every day is not the same.
Yes.
Like I wake up and I have my breakfast by 6 and it says, all right, showtime. It's like action, you know?
Yes,
yeah, showtime. Let's see what does the day hold to it. And be ready for anything.
So Tshepo, you've written this book, The 14-Year-Old Startup, and I love the title. So if our audience wanted to get themselves a copy of the book, where can they buy it?
It's available online at www.eblackbox.com, and it gets delivered to you by the very same 14-year startup, Brima Logistics.
Okay, super. So if you also would like a copy for yourself, make sure that you are subscribed to our channel, The Success Rate, and make sure that you like all our social media pages. And if you're one of the first 5 people to comment on your definition of success, we'll be sending you a copy of this book, nicely packaged and delivered by Brima Logistics. Thank you, Tshepo, for joining us. It was a wonderful conversation. And if you've enjoyed the conversation with Tshepo and you want to hear more of such conversations, make sure that you subscribe to the Success Rate podcast. Click on the notification button so that you know when new episodes are loaded. And I look forward to hearing more from you about your own journeys to success and your own definitions to success. And we'll continue this journey onto the next episode.